everybody. How's it going? Back again. It is Tuesday this week, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah. And it's a little later than normal, but the dentist waits for no man, and my dentist liked to take her time, hence me getting here at the last second to get this up and running. But I hope everyone has had a relaxing start to their week, had a wonderful, beautiful fantasy weekend, unless you play against me, in which case I hope you lost. But most of you didn't, because it wasn't the greatest week for me. But that's not what we're super here to talk about. Happy Tuesday, Ryan. I think we're okay. I think we escaped this week with minimal devastation. I can't think of anything off of the top of my head that was like, oh. I mean, Derek Carr missed a half, and then Chris Olave started catching the ball. Maybe there's a correlation between that. Taylor Heinicke missed a little bit of a game, and we got some Desmond Ridder action. I didn't get to watch the Cowboys game, but on a tanking team, I started Cooper Rush, and he got some stats. I was not ready for that, but hey, that was there. I'm guessing, they just sat Dak towards the end. Man, Dak, right? But we'll talk about him in a second. You know what? No, let's just keep going, because we're talking about Dak right now. Let's give away our signed Dak Prescott mini helmet, who, man, like I said in my tweets and on the show last week, like this dude is putting up points for your fantasy teams and for the Cowboys, because that actually does matter. Who else started Dotson after benching him the previous 2 weeks? I mean, not in SFB, but I traded for him. Not only did I trade for him, I have a team that, I'm going to make the playoffs. I don't think I'm going to win, and I traded away my picks already, so I wanted to get a little younger. I traded Keenan Allen for Dotson plus a little bit, thinking that, hey, Dotson's going to be decent, right? Of course, Keenan goes back to first 5 weeks, Keenan, and scores 16 touchdowns, and Dotson goose eggs. And again, we'll talk about him a little later. But first, we're going to talk about Dak Prescott and his beautiful signed mini helmet. Let me share my screen. There we go. Let me click on the right one over here. So again, just in case you've never watched before, or in case you just like hearing me explain it, I'm going to click this box. We're going to get an error message because we have a black check mark in the black background, and it lets you know that, hey, you're going to click something, but you're not going to be able to see anything. And then when I hit OK, we're going to see a name pop up in here, and that's who's going to win. We had a pretty good turnout, so I'm really hoping Jason Kramer doesn't win again. Oh, I saw that, Jay, and I almost lost it. Joshua Mason, congratulations. Well, I mean, if Jason won, that would be great for Jason, because we appreciate every time he's donated. But congratulations, Joshua Mason. You are the proud new winner of this Dak. It's hard to see around this Dak Prescott signed mini helmet. Beautiful white, beautiful blue, beautiful Dak, beautiful mini helmet. Beautiful Joshua Mason. Thank you very much for your donation. I hope you're happy. I mean, you won. You should be happy. I'm sure everyone out there is both happy and jealous that you won. I mean, let's face it, I would be both of those things had I been able to enter. I would be happy for someone else winning, but also pretty darn sad that I didn't. But let's go back to the slides, because now we're actually going to get into this week in Scott Fishbowl. And, we are nearing the end, I guess is a good way to say it. We got one more week of the regular season, but let's talk about me partially completing this and leaving CJ Stroud's name there, even though that's clearly a picture of TJ Hawkinson. So swing and a miss on that one. But TJ Hawkinson came in now I don't know if anybody here watched this game, but the end of the second half, beginning of the third half, he got crushed, and it his head bounced. He, had to have the medical staff come out. We're all right, this dude's missing this game with a concussion. And that hit made it look like maybe it was the week after. He came back and he played. 3 plays later, he got upended again out the sideline, landed on his neck. And we're just all right, maybe just take a little bit off, right? Come on. But no, TJ Hawkinson is a monster. 15 targets, 11 receptions, 134 yards, topping it off with 1 touchdown, and finishing out the day with 53.4 fantasy points for the number 1 scorer of the week. And he's here again. Dak Prescott coming in as the number 1 QB, second player overall. Only 35 passes, which is still pretty good, completing 26 for second straight over 400-yard game, 404 yards. 5 touchdowns, 53.16 fantasy points. And of course, don't get me wrong, I still have plenty of Keenan Allen shares. It was just that one team with a terrible situation. But here, Keenan Allen, coming back to Keenan Allen things, 14 targets, 11 receptions, 175 yards and 2 touchdowns, 47.5 fantasy points. The only thing that would have made it better is if he threw for another touchdown, because that was just a lot of fun when he did that. And the thing we all saw coming, Devin Singletary, the number 1 running back. I had to separate it because I didn't want to just say 31 touches, because he had 30 rushes, but he got that 1 reception. Total of 161 yards. I think it was like 11 yards, that reception. So he had a total of 161 yards. I'm sure everyone had Singletary on their bench, plural. Touchdowns, 1. So good. Cap it off a little bit extra. Somehow still only putting up 37.6 fantasy points. Like it's the 1 reception. Maybe he just needs more first downs. I don't know. But man, Devin Singletary, like, cool. I absolutely benched him in a place or two, and that's what we get, right? Let's talk about some letdowns. And Derrick Henry, it's rough to keep putting him here, but I can't help it because, especially now, it's November. It's not as cold as it will get, but November is usually when it's Derrick Henry's time to shine. And I know this offense isn't what we're used to with Will Levis there now, who, man, that dude will just stand still in the pocket forever. And that means less dump offs, even though Derrick Henry had a year or two where he was the dump off guy. Now they play Tyjae Spears on a lot of those routes instead of Henry. So 11 rushes, and I had to separate this one out too. 1 reception for -4 yards. Total of 20 yards total, because 24 minus 4. 6.75 fantasy points. Thank you, points per first down. But this was an ugly game from Derrick Henry, who, again, in the points per first down, you expect him to, even in a bad game, give you like 12, 13 points. And that just wasn't there. And this is actually something we probably all saw coming. It's been getting too good and too consistent with Taysom Hill that we were in for this week. We were in for 1 rush, 2 receptions for a total of 23 yards, totaling 8.55 fantasy points. Of course, I started him in so many places because, well, a few of them I don't have a choice, but a few of them, like, it's worth the ceiling, but I wasn't ready for this floor. Like, I know he has a way of disappearing, but like this hurt. This was not fun. And then, Jahan Dotson, I mean, he was on a 2-game streak for touchdowns, 60 or 70 yards in both games. And not like I was thinking that would just keep on going, but like 2 targets and 0 receptions when, I mean, Sam Howell was still a top 4 scoring QB. Like I'm pretty sure he made the top 12 scorers this week again. And like, it's rough. Like, you did us bad, Jahan. And it's really funny. I almost put Christian McCaffrey up here because he only scored like 20 points, and I think it was like 17 straight games with a touchdown. And they tried. They were dominating the Jaguars, and with 3 minutes left, they still had McCaffrey out there at the goal line and got stuffed right before the end of the game. So they tried, but that's the end of that fun. But hopefully McCaffrey just comes back to scoring 30-something fantasy points a week and keeps us coming by. But yeah, these were ones that, besides Derrick Henry, at least Taysom Hill, Jahan Dotson, you didn't draft them very highly, but they didn't really, like, they've been helping you out, and then they didn't. So let's talk a little redemption. And Jonathan Taylor first he did pretty well last week also, but the reason I really put him in here, like, they've been increasing his touches. And this is the first, I believe, last week he only had 18 rushes. Here he hit 23. So I feel like, okay, we're back. Jonathan Taylor's the dude. Zach Moss, I think, had like 1. So it is absolutely the end of the Zach Moss experiment. And it's Jonathan Taylor time again. 23 rushes, 1 reception. Sucks a little bit. But a total of 75 yards and a touchdown, 23.25 fantasy points. Like, again, this isn't what you want, what you hope for out of Jonathan Taylor, but it's still not bad. It's still pretty good. So thank you. And speaking of getting that workload, speaking of scoring some fantasy points, hey, Bijan Robinson, how you doing? 22 rushes, only 1 reception again, which a little bit of a shame. Total of 106 yards. He scored a touchdown, which is always nice. 29.1 fantasy points. We needed this. Bijan rosterers. It's been rough. It really, really, really has. And while it was nice that everything got put together where he had a lot of touches, he got a lot of yards. Of course, he was sort of the receiving back for a while, but now only 1 reception. But it all came together. 20-something touches, over 100 total yards. We got a touchdown, and it's just like, right? Like, Bijan time. Hopefully this happens again, because it's not like you're ever benching Bijan. You're not. So we're going to keep starting him, and we're just going to hope that it keeps going this way. And that brings us to our giveaway contest. It is 3:42. So for the next 3 minutes, anyone who types the word Mims is going to get a shot to win this signed Marvin Mims jersey. Broncos rookie who was fantastic at the beginning of the season. And then they just decided, oh, hey, Josh, congratulations. It's nice of you to show up. Yeah, so I have no idea what happened, why they're just like, you know what? I almost wrote Ryan Mims because I'm typing down Ryan's name and trying to say Marvin Mims. You have the best yards per route run. You have the best every single metric out here, but we're just not going to play you. We don't really, no big deal, right? But he'll get out there. He's too good not to get out there. So I really, really believe that this dude is going to be a thing. And I hope someone out there wins this, holds on to it, and then gets to say, you know what? I got this from Fantasy Cares before it was cool. And absolutely let everyone know where you got it from. That Fantasy Cares had the foresight, had the intelligence, had the everything that I can't think to say right now because it's really hard to type and do all this stuff at the same time. Yeah, Sean Payton does hate Mims. It's ridiculous. But you still got 2 more minutes. Type in the name Mims, and you have a chance of winning this Marvin Mims signed Broncos jersey. And plus, I'm not usually the biggest fan of orange, but the orange and blue, it's classic. It's nice. I love it. And I think you would love it too. So you still got another minute to type the word Mims in the comments, and you can be selected to win this beautiful Marvin Mims jersey. And you know what? We've had a pretty good track record lately where we give stuff away and then players do really well. I mean, Dak Prescott, look at what we did. Let's go all the way back to week 1 where like Danny Dimes, Tua, Sam Howell, we've been killing it. So, win this now because this is the start of the trend. Marvin Mims is going to do awesome after we give this jersey away. So get in now. Get in while you can. I'm going to put this down now because we're about at that time. And I guess we have all the entrants that we're going to get because no one else wants to put Mims in the comments to get entered to win the Marvin Mims. I almost said Denzel Mims. No one wants to win a Denzel Mims jersey, just to put that out there. Unless you're a Notre Dame fan. I, for some reason, remember where Denzel Mims went to college. But all right, here we go. That is it. That's time. Let me stop sharing the randomizer screen. Let me present and share screen of the wheel of names. Let's share. Let's hit shuffle, and let's see who's going to win this Marvin Mims Jr. jersey. Ryan! Woo! That's Ryan. I'm pretty sure Denzel Mims went to Notre Dame. Am I just wrong? Because honestly, now Denzel went to Baylor. No one knows where Denzel Mims went. See, that's what mattered. Whew. But Ryan, congrats. You're gonna love it. You're ahead of the curve. You're gonna look awesome when you have that hanging up next to you all the time, and he starts just killing it. All right, let's get back to the slides, and let's talk about the top 12 scorers of the week this week. And we have TJ Hawkinson, and he crushed everything. So, yep, he went to Baylor. Oh, absolutely wrong. I tried, but I tried. So TJ Hawkinson, we talked. Dak Prescott, we talked. Keenan Allen, we talked. Hey, Justin Herbert pulling up there 45.32. CeeDee Lamb just letting us down as wide receiver 2. CD, come on. What happened? You're absolutely that dude that was just like, hey, you go bowling and you just get 2 strikes and you're like, you're going to choke on the turkey. You choke it. You're going to choke. CeeDee Lamb choked on the turkey. That's what. And hey, it's almost Thanksgiving. Don't really choke on the turkey. That's dangerous. But CeeDee Lamb, I meant to hit remove and I hit share again. So hold on, stop sharing that. Add that to stage. Trey McBride, Trey McBride's been doing pretty well since Ertz got hurt, which it always sucks when a player has to get hurt because McBride was going to happen sooner or later. But it's a shame that it had to come from Ertz ending up on the IR. But man, doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Trey McBride's going to do some stuff, and 43.1 fantasy points is some stuff. And then comes in Devin Singletary, and there's Sam Howell. Brandon Cooks? Sure, right? 37.3 fantasy points. I would love to see if anyone actually started Brandon Cooks because that would be impressive. That would be probably a bye week and injury desperation play, and it just happened to work out. Amon-Ra St. Brown finally coming back at 150 yards in the touchdown, making it look nice. Josh Dobbs is good. You always love the story of the guy who's the Ryan Fitzpatrick story where backup, got his chance and just did really well with it. Of course, with Ryan Fitzpatrick, he had 4 of that story arc, maybe that's what's going on with Josh Dobbs. He was on 4 teams between last season and the beginning of this season. And hi, Zach. So hopefully, the whole NASA thing is just always cool. It's always awesome when there's, a human side to players, and we need that more. In a game where people wear helmets, it's really tough to humanize players, especially when we play fantasy football, which further dehumanizes NFL players. So it's awesome to see the whole NASA stuff, and with him doing well. And speaking, Geno Smith getting that little resurgence, leaving the Jets and the Giants, and I think he was somewhere else before, ending up in Seattle. And finally, I almost put him in here, but he had a couple of decent games. He scored in the 20 points a few times this season and recently, but we have not seen Geno Smith's name on here, if at all, not in a very long time. So 33.81 fantasy points is a great week at a Geno Smith for us. And I actually had to make a top 5 running backs this week because we actually had a few wide receivers make the top 12 and only 1 running back. This is the first week we've hit this issue. So we had Devin Singletary, 37.6, Jahmyr Gibbs and Brian Robinson tying. And I'm going to guess that MFL just put them in alphabetical order, not to say one did or is better than the other for any way, shape, or form. But 33.7 fantasy points out of both of them. Christian McCaffrey at a just disappointing 32.2. And then Austin Eckler finishing it up with 30.25. So we got a lot of points out of running backs. Just we didn't get those spikes. We get Devon Achane back next week, so we'll probably see him. Maybe we'll see him back there next week. Playoffs. We're still talking about playoffs. 844 teams are now in the playoffs. There's only 1 week left of the regular season. This is it. But there are 818 more spots for the playoffs. All teams that are 13 plus wins are in. And then after that, I scrolled down. I went to see math is not, I think it's 1162 is the total number of teams that make the playoff, or 1662, the teams that make the playoffs. I went down the leaderboard. I found who that number is. Roto Joe's Ethan Randlees, Roto Joe's _ Ethan is currently 1662 and is averaging 205.03 points. So if you're averaging around there, you got 1 more week to give yourself that final little push. And you know what? I didn't check yet. So hold on. We're going to present, share screen, Scott Fishbowl leaderboard. Yay! All right. Outhouse 14-28, 10-10, keeping it mediocre. Like I always said, I just want to finish top half. And mediocre, but averaging that 207.65. Thankfully, I put up like 215 this week. Whew. Congrats, Matt, saying that you're in. Technically, I'm not in yet, and as long as I don't know what my buys look like this week. Oh man, I probably just jinxed it all. But no, but I had Mahomes on buy already, so like that's like my golden ticket anyway. So I think I'll be fine. So yeah, I see a lot of people in here. Gail out here started 8-0 and went to 9-11. You still doesn't matter. 1 week, all you need is one more good week, and you could still make it. I mean, Matt's in, Af's in here saying 2 wins to make it in. Points won't do it. You could still 1 week right now. All you need is 1 week. If you have one good week, you win. You beat the median, and you're in. And Ryan not going to make it unless you score 300 plus points. I would love for that to happen for you, but I mean, if that hasn't happened yet. All right, let's get back to the slides. Hey, Faith. All right, so let's talk about the undefeated teams. There were 7 last week. Only 2 went down. Week 10, there are 5 defeated teams left. And they just need to survive 1 more week. And let's talk about them. I mean, we might as well call them up by name. Hold on, I need to pull this up on my screen. I can't read that at all. Undefeated teams. So we have Aaron Knight at Aaron Knight 99 from the Fanta division, averaging 251.43 points. Whew. Dynasty Warzone, Neil Gray at NRG 51628. Do those numbers mean something, or did you just like bash a keyboard because you couldn't? All right. Averaging 247.83. John Lee at John 4-88. I feel like I've said that name a few times in these videos. Averaging 245.17. Michael Young at M Young 8815 from Neil's at Heineken division. John is in the Publix division. Michael Young from BJ's Restaurant and Brew House, averaging 241.31. Football guys, Dan Hindry at Hindry. Oh, nice. That's nice and easy. Just getting your last name from the Skyline division, averaging 231.46. That's it, man. Those are the undefeated teams. Wait, John L., that's you? Hey, that's awesome. Congratulations. You're better than most of us. All right, so let's go on. Let's talk about the high scores of the week. We had Chaboy Ridge back on the list again, scoring 329.69. Football diehards, Andrew Phelps at Drew Phelps 05, 326.79. Chase Vernon, 2 weeks in a row, 321.23. The aforementioned Aaron Knight, who is the number 1 ranked player at this moment, 318.44, at least the top ranked undefeated team. Dylan Anise at Dylan 1191, 312.68. Samantha Previtt, hey Samantha NFL, 307.46. Kyle Smith at Dynasty FF Dad, gotta love those FF dads out there, 305.54. All right. Dynasty Pros, Dynasty Nerds, QB List, Dustin Ludke, hey, at the Dunnit 13. Dustin coming in at 304.63. Travis Billman at Travis Billman, 303.17. Hayden Miller at KYZY10, 302.99. Congrats, all of you 10 people, for just killing it this week. Hopefully you kill it next week, and hopefully you make it into the playoffs. And before we keep on moving, let's hold on. I've stuff like piled over here. Let's talk about our diabetes awareness giveaway. I believe today is National Diabetes Awareness Day, but to this month is also the entire month of diabetes awareness. We have our Mark Andrews signed jersey, where they actually did a piece, or I saw an article or something on Twitter about him. Every time he gets off the field, he has to get his blood sugar tested because he has type 1 diabetes. So the second he sits on the bench, he gets a continuous glucose monitor plugged into him, and they got to keep him monitored. So let more kids that, hope kids can cope, can learn, can everything along the way. So maybe they can make it into the NFL, and we'll be able to give away their jersey in a future November giveaway for diabetes awareness. But fantasycares.org/JDF, just go donate. Every donation will go directly to the JDRF, the Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund. but also give you an entry into winning this. We will announce the winner on the first Tuesday in December, because again, it's the entire month that we're going to keep going through all this, because we want to raise as much money as we can for the JDRF. So please, 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 fantasycares.org/JDRF and donate to be entered to win that beautiful Mark Andrews jersey. And then this week, all right, so first of all, let's talk about CeeDee Lamb, who, again, completely just choked on the turkey this week, but has been killing it finally. Like, you know, he's been good. He's been good. He's been great. He's been great. Yes, the step has been taken. He deserves to be at those top wide receivers. So this is one person will be winning both of these. First, the Funko Pop, but also, like, what's with this packaging deal? Like, this doesn't help. I promise this is a signed CeeDee Lamb jersey. That is the actual picture of the jersey itself. I'll take it out of here and refold it. And I am ashamed and embarrassed that, you know, he's wearing the white jersey on the Funko Pop and we have the blue jersey here. I feel like I built up an expectation after that Justin Jefferson complete and utter lucky coincidence that we had those two, that jersey and that toy. But this is just like, but please still don't be too hard on me. Please just donate anyway. We are just about to hit that time. I mean, we have some people going shopping for Toys for Tots this weekend. Like, it's starting, it's here. So any single donation you can throw, we absolutely wonderfully appreciate. And even if you can't, a retweet, a quote tweet, an anything to help spread the word about, you know, people entering a contest to win stuff. Look, like, we're not just looking for handouts. I mean, don't get me wrong, fantasycares.org, and you can absolutely just go in and give us anything you want. But if you want to go to donorbox.org/goodness-giveaway or fantasycares.org/GG for goodness giveaway. So wait, one more time, donorbox.org/goodness-giveaway or fantasycares.org/GG. Your donation will get you entered into winning both the CeeDee Lamb signed jersey and the CeeDee Lamb Funko Pop. And again, I humbly apologize that the jerseys don't match. I'm so sorry. But that's it for today. Thank you, everyone, for joining, for watching, for playing along, and all of that stuff. We appreciate every single one of you. We love that as many people can hang out with us here. We always hope for more, wish for more. So if you know one of your friends or league mates are doing nothing right now, be like, hey, next week, come and hang out with us. They could win stuff. We like winning stuff. But again, I'll see you next week. Scott Fishbowl 13 coming up, regular season to a close. Good luck, everybody, unless you're playing me, in which case I need to score some points. I want to get that win. I can't get 3 wins, so I guess it doesn't matter if I win or lose. I just need to score me some points. So, okay, good luck to the person playing against me also, because as long as I get the... I'm rambling at this point. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next week.